Most hosts lose money to bad guests because they rely on luck, not systems. That's why you see surprise costs, liability scares, and messy reviews that tank your profit. And here's the thing, you don't need luck. You need 5 safeguards that do all the heavy lifting for you. We've dealt with the broken chair injury claim or the break-in scare. And today, I'm gonna show you exactly how we protect against both. Comment your worst guest story below. Here's the promise: 5 real scenarios, 5 protections, insurance, clear rules, security, party prevention, and inventory control. There's a secret step that makes damage claims painless, and stay with us to hear it. So when we talk about Airbnb guests, I would say most are good. Most of your Airbnb guests are not going to actually cause much of an issue. But at some point in your hosting journey, you are going to get a bad guest. It's inevitable. The question is, will you be protected or will you be blindsided? And the fear here is real. Surprise costs, damages, and liability, weird behavior, and reviews you did not even see coming. You want predictable income, not anxiety. I've hosted across multiple properties. We're up to 70 properties now. It started with 1, and we've come across many guests. Last year we hosted 10,000 guests, and we've seen a lot of cases. So here's 5 scenarios in the exact systems that you can use to neutralize them. So we want to talk about protecting yourself from liability and how that could work. Before we get into this a lot, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about making sure that we have the right insurance in place, and specifically the insurance needs to be short-term rental appropriate. So let's talk about the scariest kind of guest problem. Someone actually gets hurt on your property. Now, injury claims can turn into big medical bills and legal claims fast. Even if the guest is reasonable, you, at the end of the day, are responsible for their safety. And the fixed here is layered protection. You have platform host liability like Airbnb AirCover, but you also want to make sure that you have a correct short-term rental or landlord policy, as well as possibly a personal umbrella on top of that. Customer service and documentation are part of your coverage here, and we want to make sure that we're documenting any claims on the channel. And in the moment, you want to respond obviously with empathy, check if they're okay. Apologize is questionable. We want to make sure that we maybe are apologizing, maybe not, but we want to offer a simple path. We can fix this now, or we could fix it after checkout. On the back end, actually read your platform's liability summary as well as the exclusions, because there are some. And if you take direct bookings, you're going to need a proper STR policy, not just a homeowner's policy. Plus an umbrella that extends limits into the millions of dollars. Here's a mindset shift. You won't know who broke what every single time. So you need to make sure you have a CapEx or a cost of doing business line for untraceable damage, but making sure that you have a very tight cleaning checklist, as well as photos before they check in and photos after. Let's talk about the number 2, clear rules and fees that stop money drama. And this is like a new guest, right? Let's talk about a new guest. So the bad guests, they didn't trash anything. They just keep trying to get more from you, and we all know this type of guest, without paying. So vague rules create awkward money conversations, as well as possible resentment. And platforms, they're not going to back you when nothing's in writing. So you need to write clear policies on check-in as well as check-out times, early check-in and late checkout fees, pet policy fees, pool heating fees, golf cart rental fees, max occupancy, and extra guest charges. You got to know the AirCover or resolution process as well as the timelines, but have this conversation up front. If you've got an upsell, you need to make sure it's up front. Before the booking, you want to put all the fees and rules into your listing. For example, if it costs to heat the pool, you ideally want to put the price in the listing, as well as ask for it as soon as they book. Early check-ins is either a full extra night or clearly priced fees. For example, we charge $19 an hour. And when a guest pushes, you need to clarify. Standard check-in is 4 p.m. Arriving the night before means adding an extra night. You can also send a priced offer through the platform, which is what Airbnb wants you to do. If they don't accept it, you need to follow up 2 times and then file within the window. You want to keep your messages concise, professional, for review as well as your own protection. Let's talk about securing against strangers and fake guests. We've actually had this happen, unfortunately, when we first started, and that's why we implemented one of the changes, a system that we use called Auto Host. Auto Host is an AI screening device that gets all their information and verifies they are who they say they are. The next situation is actually scarier. Now, these people, they were not even guests. They used a fake credit card or a credit card that was stolen. And so this was prior to us screening. So not every threat comes from a reservation. Scammers can actually test empty houses. So you need to protect your personal safety, your property, and legitimate guest stays. Here's a simple stack that you could do. A video doorbell at the main entrance will help with that. Additional cameras covering the side as well as the back door, and the ability to possibly even talk through the camera. And what you can do is you can pay for cloud storage so that way you can keep the clips. And when an unknown person or people show up, you can use something like, "Hi, how can I help you?" A lot of cameras like Reolink, they will actually automate this, and you can record yourself asking that question. So whether it's 2 a.m. or 12 p.m., you'll want to ask for the address on the reservation. Make sure that you're not releasing the address prior towards a confirmed and screened guest. If there's no bags, no booking to show, or pushy behavior, you don't obviously want to share the details or the codes, and tell them to contact their host as well as the platform. Afterwards, you want to document and report to the platform as well as emergency authorities if it's warranted, and save your video clips. What this is going to do is deter repeat attempts and support future action. Let's talk about payoff number 4, or preventing parties and handling damages like a professional, because we all know that damages do happen. So sometimes when damages happen, there's a certain process where we need to do. The nightmare is surprise parties. So noise complaints, or how did this damage occur? Now, parties can trigger and will probably trigger neighbor complaints, property damage, and platform or trouble with the city. Could be even pulling a permit. Damage, either big or small, is going to eat into your profit if you don't claim it right. Prevention is first. You want to position your listing for families, not party crews. Highlight baby gear, toys, cribs, yards, and a calm vibe. Disclose a noise monitoring device. There's one that we recommend called Minute. You can install it in the ceiling. It doesn't record anything, but it does monitor decibel levels inside or outside, depending on where you do that. But it has to be disclosed in the listing and your house rules. And you need to be upfront that there's no parties and no events. During a noise alert, a lot of this can be automated. So you want to check exterior cameras and ask this key question: is the noise escaping outside? And you want to act proportionally if it is. For damage, evidence beats opinions. You want to take those timestamp photos immediately. Keep receipts or purchase screenshots and message the guest succinctly. My cleaner noted X, Y, and Z. I'll need to charge you $225 due to the extra smoking. Here's the invoice as well as the documentation showing the cigarettes inside the home. Now, if they agree, you can close it out in the resolution center, and if they fight it, that's when we want to escalate it, but using the documentation. Don't stress if it's true wear and tear, and you want to save energy for obvious and or intentional damage. Next, let's talk about inventory and controlling the actual inventory or the toilet paper thief. Sounds strange, but I will share a story with you. The next bad guest, they didn't break anything. They just stole an absurd amount of toilet paper. I kid you not, this is a true story. We had over 100 rolls of toilet paper delivered to a house. And when we went to clean, most guests put supplies in the corner. This one decided to take 19 rolls of toilet paper. You want to make sure that obviously these things get expensive and overstocking invites loss. So use a simple strategy. For small on-site units, stock whatever's needed plus a small buffer, but make sure it's locked up. And for remote houses, you want to lock bulk closets, give obviously the cleaner access, and set restock thresholds. Ideally, you want these supplies delivered to the house when there's no one available, but that may not always be the case, especially if you're like us, we keep our houses pretty full. Accept minor losses, but you want to really define what's your threshold for a loss. And you want to budget margins to absorb small losses. Payoff number 6 is adopt a realistic, calm host mindset. This is a great one. So after these stories, you might wonder, is hosting even worth it? So fear can make you stop or overreact. The balanced truth here is most guests are fine and bad is manageable with systems. You want to treat incidents as tuition. So refine rules, listing, insurance, and security. Focus on prevention first, then documentation and professional communication, especially when you're deciding whether to even approve or deny their reservation. If these are the worst stories over the years, risk is manageable when layered protections are actually in place. And we've learned a lot about that. For example, the one that stole the toilet paper. That's not very common, but it does happen occasionally. And so in conclusion, you cannot avoid every bad guest. You're gonna get them. It's not if, but when. But you want to make sure that you have the right insurance, the rules, the security, the system, so you can turn disasters into minor cost. Please subscribe for more STR playbooks and watch my advanced pricing and party prevention video so your revenue and risk stack clicks together. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.